side views also while we're working. Now I'm also going to grab the points right there, the neck, push it down, and define the clavicle area a little. Most people don't do that enough when they're at this early stage, but it's important to get the shapes right now. Now I'm going to round out the wrist area, just a little bit, not a lot. Zoom out, look at the legs, round out the foot area. We don't have a lot of geometry there, but what we do have we can sculpt as best we can. Next I want to zoom in on the hand, or where the hand is going to be. We have 4 faces there. I'm going to scale those together, the points on the edges. Now select the faces on the outside side and extrude it out. Grab the points on the corner, pull them in to round out the shape. Next, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, extrude the 2 faces, and pull the points in to round out the shape. Basically, you're trying to create the palm of the hand. Now you have 4 rows of 2 polygons. That way, you have basically 4 fingers there for your fingers. I'm going to grab all those faces that I just created and extrude outward to create the rest of the palm. Now I have 2 polygons selected. I'm going to extrude that out for the first section of the index finger. Scale it down a little bit. Round out the shape before you go any further. I want you to select the faces there at the front again. Extrude them out for the second part of the index finger. And one more time for the third section. And push that area back, and you're going to extrude one more time for where the nail area is going to go. So you should have 4 sections. Now I'm just going to edit the points, shape the finger a little. Not too much, just enough to get the overall shape of the finger. Push the points down, define the nail. It looks a little wide on top. I'm going to narrow it out and round out the form. We only have 6 polygons to work with right now, so we can't do a lot of rounding, but as much as we can do, we will. So that gives you the index finger. We're not going to build the other fingers right now. Next I'm going to move on to building the thumb, and it's going to be the 2 faces right back here. Let's extrude that out. Side, one face is facing down, and once you extrude it, shape it. Make a hexagonal shape that will eventually round out when you smooth it. And we're going to select those 2 faces and extrude down. The thumb is usually placed 90 degrees in relationship to 90 degrees down in relationship to the other fingers. We're eventually going to rotate it up a little bit, but for now, as you model the thumb, it's easier to model it straight down. That way you have none of the issues of trying to model it at an angle. So you should have 2 more extrudes, and we're going to extrude one more time. And that's going to define the lower part of the thumb. Move around the points, shape it, scale it there. It's looking a little short. We're going to pull it down a little bit. Yeah, too short. Make it a little bigger. Define the pad of the hand a little more. Rotate it around, just round out the shapes a little. We're not going to do those other fingers yet. We're going to do those later. And let's go to the foot now. I'm going to add one more edge loop for the leg. That's going to help us out in creating the knee at later on point, and also help us out with the toes. We have 5 toes coming out of two polygons, but if we add one more line, it makes it a lot easier. We can also round out the form of the glutes a little more with the extra line. Always shape as you go. You add a line, round out the form. So this extra line will later on help us define the knee, the muscles of the quadriceps, but for right now it'll help us have 5 toes instead of 4, because the same thing wouldn't work for the hand. So scale them in, same way you did the hand. Push the points down, select the face on the side, extrude that outward, grab the points on the end, push them in to round out the shape. Do the same thing on the other side. Move around some points first. Give the foot a little bit more shape. Extrude that face out now. Pull the points in. And now you've slowly defined the area where the toes are going to extrude out of. Just going to move around a few points. Define the shape a little better. Very important before you start extruding the toes, well, one more edge loop here. That'll allow us to have the same level of flexibility we have with the hand in rounding out the form. First, let's extrude the big toe. One extrude for the first joint of the toe. And round out the form, make it hexagonal shape. You want to push up the toe that first extrude up a little bit, and you're going to select those faces and extrude forward, push down ever so slightly, and extrude forward again for where the nail is going to exist. Now you can select, while still selected, you can push those points up, round out the form a little more, push down where the nail is going to be, and just shape the big toe. Might be a little too big, scale it in. Now let's go and do the next digit of the toes. This is going to have three sections as opposed to the 2 of the big toe. Round out the 2 boxes first. Scale it down. Extrude one more time. Well, a couple more times. Same thing, push it up a little bit and extrude again. Push it down, and then one more extrude for where you're going to define the nail area. Scale that part together. Just round out the form a little more. We're not going to do the other digits of the toe either, because when we do detail out the toes, we can just copy them and paste them on the 3 remaining toes. So for right now, the big toe and the next toe down is good enough. Alright, let's zoom out a little bit. I'm going to add a few more edge loops here. I'm going to zoom in here, right in the abdomen. I'm going to select an edge loop there. That way I can define the abdomen geometry a little better, pull out the pelvic bone. Just minor tweaks, define the shape a little better. Another edge loop right around the neck. Gives me a little more neck geometry. I'm also going to bring in the points right in the nose area is going to be together a little closer. Pull this point down, define the clavicle a little more now that I have more geometry in the neck. And that is our blocking model. Move on to adding detail.